Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing the 2024 Kia K5 GT line. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Center Kia here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this K5. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Patrick. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbocharged 1.6 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 27 around town and then 37 on the highway, with power outputs being 180 horsepower and then 195 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, the black paint really shows the distinctive body lines that this has, and we've got the new Kia logo. And then popping down below, one of my favorite parts about the K5 are the amber daytime running lights. It's just such a cool look. And then you guys can see here with the grille, also really cool looking as well. And then you can see the rest of the openings here at the bottom. By the way, it does have fog lights, forgot to mention that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the front end of the K5. Now, coming on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 235, 45, 18 in the front and over in the rear. And then you guys can see with the wheel design, you got the silver there on the top, and notice how it's blacked out in the center. Looks really cool. I love the cut here for the fender. I think that looks great. Notice we've got some silver trim there around the windows that actually continues all the way to the rear. And here is your full side view with that K5. It has a really sleek design. So we've got our remote start function here with the Kia logo at the bottom. We've got our lock and unlock function and the opening for the trunk. Now, popping into the cargo area, we've got these little pull tabs here to throw down the seats so you can get even more space, but the K5 overall is a very spacious sedan. And although the trunk automatically pops open, you do have to plop it down yourself. I think this is cool here with the low profile spoiler. You've got the Kia badge, K5 there, and then GT line as well. And then you guys can see with the diffuser there at the bottom. Pretty cool. Putting it all together, like I said earlier, let me know what you guys think about the overall style, but I think they did a good job with the K5. Now, taking a look at the door panel, I like this trim piece that goes across, and then it is padded where you're gonna rest your arm. You got your window control here, and then look at the handle itself, pretty neat. And then here are the seats. You guys can see the padding all around, and then you've got the cloth inserts there in the center. Legroom here in the back is actually really good. We've got some storage pocket action there on the back of the seats, some USBs there at the bottom, and would you look at this? We also have a cup holder armrest. And headroom back here is also good. Now, taking a look at the front door panel, you can see the silver trim that goes across and then our padding down below. All of our window controls are right here. We've got a door lock and unlock, the mirror adjustments, and then there is blind spot monitoring with the mirrors too. Well, we still have the factory covering on this seat, but they're basically the same as the back, where you've got the nice like padding here on the outside and then the cloth trim in the center. Power adjustments there on the side of the seat. And then you guys can see this to pop open the trunk right there. That's your lane departure and then your stability control. Now, taking a look at the steering wheel, we've got really nice padding all around. GT line there at the bottom. And we have some controls here for the center stack. We have our adaptive cruise control with our steering assist. We've got volume and voice command controls as well. And then you guys can see we've got our turn signal light stock and then our windshield wiper stock. Now, taking a look at the center gauge cluster, mostly analog. We do have that screen though in the center, which we can use to scroll through some different bits of information on the car. And on top of that, when you change the drive modes, right, kind of changes a little bit of the look there in the center. So you guys can see in sport mode, for example, it says sport there at the bottom. So I don't know. Anyways, there's the center. Now, in reverse, we do have a backup camera with 2 direction lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution on the camera system is pretty solid. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time with this is really good. It's easy to use. I like that we have physical buttons here on either side for like shortcuts, and then also obviously the volume control, so I think that's great. Now, I do want to mention the dash here at the top is soft touch, and it's got some like stitching, which looks nice, and this also looks very premium as well, and even the vents as well. Anyways, we've got our dual zone climate controls, as you can see, and then down below we've got some charging port action here, and then you can see the storage, and then some cup holders, shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission, and then we do have our manual mode, and then our parking brake and our auto hold. We've got our heated seat controls right here. It's pretty cool with the actuation on them. I think it's just kind of fun to use. And then a drive mode select right next to that, and then that is to let you know if your phone's charging, because we have a phone charging pad right there. And then you got your glove box, or not glove box, rather center console, which is pretty normal. Now you've got the real glove box over here, which also pretty normal. And then finishing things up, we do have a manual mirror dimmer, and then just a black headliner. So here's our window sticker for this GT line. This one happens to be front wheel drive. You can get these with all-wheel drive though as well. And then here's all of the standard equipment. Then you guys can see here with the packaging and then some options. Total MSRP, $28,990. If this was all-wheel drive, I think it'd be just over $30,000 for the sticker price. A little bit of a difference, but let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here on the K5. Here's your visibility over the hood, both in the mirrors. Just do a blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. It's cool. It says GT line there on the seat though. Anyways, let us set off in the GT line. Front wheel drive, usually here in Utah they order all-wheel drive ones, but you know, the front wheel drive is going to be a little bit less money, so it's going to be kind of more of like a price point car. So I can understand why they would order one. But first off, what I'm noticing here is it's got this kind of like lightweight feel to it, which I really like. Good torque out of the engine. So I think that's a big positive. Do like the 8-speed too. Having an actual torque converter automatic, I think, is great in this segment. Again, most cars in this segment, you got to remember, have CVTs. So having actual gears, it does change the driving experience quite substantially. And yeah, ride quality is pretty good. I mean, it's a relatively comfortable car overall. Let's see what the torque's like here. Yeah, torque is good too. You can tell this is front wheel drive though. Like you can, it even with, you know, 180 horsepower, it does kind of torque steer a little bit, does pull a little bit, you can feel it. Yeah, great job over the train tracks. So far, pretty solid. Okay, well, we are going to get our acceleration here in just a moment with the K5. Something else I want to mention is these seats are actually pretty dang comfortable. So I think the Kia's done a good job with the seat comfort. Yeah, I can feel the torque steer, but man, this thing's powerful. And this isn't even the GT, right? This is the GT line. So to cap things off here with the K5, I think this car looks great. I think that it comes with a lot of features for the price point, and I think it drives really well. I don't really know of another car in this segment, this price point, that drives as well as the K5. You know, again, everything else, it's like CVT, and so it's just not the same. The only other car that I feel like might be more fun than this is a Honda Civic Sport Touring with a manual, because it's pretty much the same horsepower and then a manual transmission. I'd rather have a manual than an automatic any day of the week, but you can get this with all-wheel drive. You can't get the Civic with all-wheel drive, sadly. Let me know, that's an interesting one. Let me know if you'd go for the K5 or if you'd go for a Civic Sport Touring with the manual. That'd be kind of like an interesting little comparison between those two.